Hello friends, welcome back to the channel, or if you are new here, welcome. I know that many of you saw my post from Christmas where I had a very significant event happen. I don't plan on going into detail in this video. I'm still kind of trying to wrap my head around it and figure out the words to even say, but just know that I am doing so much better. I feel like each day I'm getting stronger and I'm feeling more like myself. I know I had several people reach out to me concerned and expressing their love and prayers. I really appreciate that. So anyway, this week, like I said, it's gonna look a little different. You will see me popping in and out of videos, but just know that it is very minimal. I'm doing a lot of resting in between, and my husband Kyle is for the most part taking over quite a bit of the tasks around the house. So you will see more of him and a little bit less of me, but I am still trying to pop in and out whenever I am feeling up to it. I do plan on sitting down at some point this week and sharing just everything that actually did happen on Christmas and sharing my story. I know that I do not have to, but I feel like it is a really important topic. It is a very sensitive topic, but I feel like it is important to share. And I have a lot of love and support on this channel. And so I felt like it is a really great place to share what I went through. So I do plan on sharing that a little later this week, just whenever I'm feeling up to recording all that. And then hopefully I'll have it out by Wednesday or at least by the end of this week. This video today is a little bit low key. We're going to not really clean up around the house, but I'm wanting to get Christmas put away. I'm feeling slightly emotional about it. So with everything, I basically missed Christmas, and I'm having trouble adjusting mentally. I feel like not just to that, but just wrapping my head around everything. So I'm wanting to put it away. I'm hoping that that kind of makes me feel a little bit better and kind of not have to see all the Christmas clutter and all that kind of stuff. So we're not necessarily going to be cleaning. We're going to just kind of pack up Christmas stuff, put things away, and have a little bit less clutter around the house. And then in a future video, we will get to more of the cleaning from after Christmas. We are starting today's video out with breakfast. My kids absolutely love biscuits and gravy. So we went ahead and my husband, he picked up some stuff from the store that he felt comfortable helping with for dinners and different meals and stuff throughout the week. So one of the things he wanted to make was biscuits and gravy. So I was helping him with that. And he is going to be starting dinner now in the crock pot. I was just dicing up some onions for him to make. So he has never made chili before, but it is such an easy recipe. I've made this a bunch of times on my channel, so I'm sure you're all familiar with it. But this was something that I knew he would feel totally fine with putting together in the crock pot. So that's what we're going to get ready now. If you've been here a while, you may know that my husband is not a cook. He's in the kitchen always. He's just kind of behind the camera usually, and I am usually the one that does all the cooking. He does not know how to cook very much things at all. But I knew that this chili, it was such just a throw together or something in the crock pot type of meal. I knew he would be able to handle it. And he was actually really proud afterwards that he was able to throw this together, and it turned out really good. So he is browning a pound of ground turkey. You can use ground beef. I try to do a lot more ground turkey these days though. So he is doing 1 pound of ground turkey. And then when that is almost done, he threw in that onion that I diced up. So he's going to saute that a little bit before adding everything into the crock pot. We were talking to my mother-in-law last night, and he was telling her about how he made chili, and she brought up a really good point that I've thought about before, but not really in the way that she said it. So she said that every time you make chili, it's never really the same any 2 times. So I thought that was kind of interesting because it's definitely true in my house. I have within the last, 6 months to a year, I've really worked on my chili recipe, because before that, It was literally a different recipe every single time. This one is so easy. It's just dumping a bunch of beans and whatever meat and stuff that I'm using in this crock pot. So it is very dump and go, and sometimes that is just something you're needing. This recipe works really well for my family. We really enjoy it, but it was just funny because she was like, chili is never the same, you know, every time you make it. And that is so true. I'm curious if you guys have like a dependable chili recipe that you follow every time and your chili is always the same, or are you more like me where you forget ingredients or the ingredients slightly change over time? That is generally how I do things, especially with chili. So in the crock pot, he put the ground turkey and the onion in the bottom. He dumped in 3 cans of the mixed chili beans with the chili sauce in them. So he put those all in, 1 can of diced tomatoes. And then he also put in a little bit of water into the bottom of each of the chili cans just to get some of that juice out of there. And then I usually will put in some beef broth, but I don't have any on hand, so he used some beef bouillon, and he's going to mix that all together with the water. He's adding a little bit more water that sometimes I will reserve a little bit just to see if it's like too soupy towards the end, or if it needs some liquid throughout the day, I'll add that in. But he added about a cup of water to that. He initially forgot to add in the chili powder mix, so I usually will add that in, and I won't show it, but he did end up adding that in a little bit later once we remembered. So he has that all mixed up in the crock pot, and then he's going to start that. We did low for like the whole day. If you're used to my channel, you know that I usually cannot plan that well ahead, but my husband is a lot better at planning apparently, so we were able to get that into the crock pot for it to cook all day instead of me kind of rushing to do it on the stove. So now we are going through and we're going to kind of clean up, like I said, some of the Christmas stuff. I'm wanting to change our sheets. We got some new sheets for Christmas, so we're going to put those on the bed. I love that feeling after Christmas where you just kind of feel like a fresh start. You get your whole house nice and clean and decluttered, and it just feels like you're starting off the new year fresh. I love that feeling, and especially this year, that is definitely the goal. So we are getting my sheets switched over, and every time I switch my sheets over, I usually will spray my mattress with like a fabric deodorizer type of spray. It's a Zep one. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I think it's along those lines. But anyway, so that is what I sprayed on my mattress, and then we're just putting the new sheets on. These are, so it said that it was like a coral color. I feel like once we got them out of the packaging, it actually was a little darker than a coral. I absolutely love these. These are kind of like, it's a mixture between a coral and like a terracotta. And we're going to go back to my trusty terracotta comforter. If you've been here a while, I know you already know which one it is. I tend to use like the same comforter almost all year round. I will just like take it off, wash it, and then put it right back on my bed. It is my favorite one. I just love how it looks. And so I'm going to switch to that now that Christmas is over, and try to get everything to feel kind of back to normal. That was my goal for this day. Like I said, you're not really going to see me sitting down and stuff, obviously, because I'm not recording that, but just know that this was really spread out throughout the day. We were kind of taking it easy. Whenever I needed a moment to sit down, we would end up, you know, just kind of pausing for a minute. Some of the times, like when my husband is doing the tree and stuff, I am actually just sitting right behind the camera, but I'm sitting, I'm resting, and just really trying to take it easy and embracing this time that he is home and able to help. So anyway, like I said, you're not really going to see, I look normal here. I'm trying to do my best to get back to normal. And that was kind of really the goal of the day. I wanted to feel normal and also kind of rest and get back to what we consider normal. I also got this quilt, or it's not a quilt. What is this? It's like a little throw blanket. It is knitted and it is just so beautiful. You can't really tell here, but it is like a light sage green color. It is so beautiful. We got this for my son that passed away. He just had a birthday recently, so he would have been 3, and we were sent this in remembrance of him. I just absolutely think it is so beautiful, and I feel like it ties in really well with my bedding and my new sheets and everything like that. So we have that. I sat and rested for a while, got some energy back, and I am going to be kind of cleaning up this little window area. We have some Christmas over here, so I'm going to be gathering that up so we can put those away. And then also, I usually have a bunch of plants over here, but some of them need watered, some of them have like a couple dry leaves, stuff like that. They just need a little bit of tending to. So that is, I'm kind of moving things out of the way because I do like I clean best that way, where I just kind of start with a clean slate. So I'm taking everything down so I can wipe this whole area down pretty well and get all the debris from like the plants and stuff picked up. And then once the plants are kind of tidied up and watered, I'll put them all back. And like I said, I'll just pack up the Christmas stuff. I end up setting that aside, and my husband packed up all the Christmas stuff a little later today. I don't know if you can tell, but we have our sliding door open over here. Kat is sitting in the little doorway at the screen. It has been like Christmas Day, it was almost 80 degrees. It has been so warm here, and it's crazy because it's like really no transition. It is night and day. And so the week before Christmas, the week of Christmas, I guess it would be, it was high 70s, almost 80s most of the week. And then the day that I'm recording this, so Monday after Christmas, it is freezing now. Like, I think the high today is like 30 degrees or something like that. We have a fire going. It is night and day of what it was yesterday, which was like mid 70s. And then by the evening, we had this huge cold front come in, a ton of winds. Our power was flickering and everything like that, which is always a really scary thing for us. So we were a little worried about that yesterday, but luckily there was no big events or anything. It was very calm and stuff after the wind. So I'm glad for that. But yeah, it is crazy. The wind, it's like we didn't even get a fall, really. It just went from summer, really, really warm temperatures, and then to freezing, and it keeps going back and forth, I feel like. So really no transition. It's pretty wild to think that just yesterday it was almost 80 degrees, and today it is like freezing. It is like high of 30s, I believe. One thing that makes a huge difference when you're cleaning is to kind of dry dust before you actually go in with any cleaner and spray. So that's what I did with the whole windowsill and this bench. I went in and I just kind of dusted everything onto the floor. So that is what I'm doing now. I'm just sweeping it up, and I like to sweep and then vacuum. I feel like it just really gets everything picked up. So I dry dusted everything onto the floor, and now I'm going in with just a very minimal cleaner. This is just hot water, a little bit of Dawn dish soap, and then I like to put in some essential oil. My favorite to clean with is like lemon or a sweet orange. I love the scent of them, but also those citrus scents do really well getting any like stuck on things or grime picked up. So that is what I have sprayed, and now I'm just wiping everything down before I go and put everything back. I'm curious when you guys put your Christmas stuff away. I am one of those people, I haven't always been like this, but in more recent years, I am one of those people that I like to put it away like immediately after Christmas. I used to never want to put it away, and I would be really sad about it after New Year's. And it would get to the point where my husband's like, okay, we have to pack, like, I don't want it up anymore. But for a while now, that has not been the case. And I think because I've put it up earlier and earlier, like I do it mid-November now. And so by the time Christmas rolls around, I'm just really tired of it being up. I'm tired of the clutter. I want it nice and clean, and I just want to feel that sense of being able to breathe because there's not as much clutter around. So In recent years, I like as soon as Christmas is over, if we did not host on Christmas, there's a possibility that that day it would be gone. But we host on Christmas, so I at least wait for the day after Christmas to be putting everything away. Usually it's the weekend after Christmas is I get everything kind of put away and wrapped up and nice and clean. So I'm curious though, I know a lot of people don't really do that. So I'm curious when you put your Christmas stuff away. I know my boys, they had a Christmas tree up in their room and they were really sad to see that go. Lincoln, he was like, oh, I'm going to miss Christmas. And I think that's normal for a kid. You know, when you're young and you have that Christmas magic, it is so hard to let it go and put everything away for the whole year. But, you know, they had such a wonderful Christmas and I'm so glad about that, but I was really ready for it to be put away, and I think after it's said and done, they were totally fine with it, but I totally get the feeling that it's just kind of sad. It's a little bittersweet that the Christmas magic is being packed away for the next year. All right, now that I have the whole window area all nice wiped down and everything, Kyle is going to be taking down this tree. This is the only one I believe that he taped taking down, but we did take down, like, the kids took down their Christmas tree from upstairs. They packed all that away, and then the boys, they had a Christmas tree in their room, so they packed that up with my husband. Like I said, you're going to see me popping in and out, but it's funny. I have to share this. I don't know what got into me, and my daughter too. So this day when you're actually not seeing me, I'm on the couch with a blanket and I'm doing, they're not crossword, word searches. We had this book sitting on a shelf, and maybe for years now, I don't even know. And I don't know what got into me. I think just, kind of forcing myself to sit down and rest, and it kind of busied my mind, and I wasn't so, because if you know me, I have a hard time sitting and relaxing. I am always up and helping and doing things, and as a mom, it's hard to kind of sit down and relax. And I am definitely one that struggles with that. So I was doing word searches almost this entire day. And my husband, he was like kind of just picking fun at it because I never do it. And so it was just kind of funny. And he's just like, what has gotten into you? You're just all day long doing word searches. But I can't just sit there and, watch TV. It just bothers me. I don't know. I think it's just a mom thing. I'm hoping eventually I'll grow out of it and not have that feeling of constantly needing to be up and doing something. But it was interesting because, the word searches, they just kept my mind busy and not really like thinking about being antsy about getting up. And then it was funny because my daughter, she was picking up her room and getting all her stuff situated from Christmas, and she would come downstairs and just kind of help me find a couple words, and she was helping. And then when she was all done, she was like, can I do a word search? So it was just kind of funny. Me and her were doing word searches throughout the day, and it's definitely something new. My husband, I don't know, has ever seen me sit there and do word searches. So he was just like, what is going on? I don't have many glass ornaments on the tree, but you saw there was one broke, which I guess is not that bad because that was the only one that was broke this entire year. So I have to be grateful that there was only one, but it was a little sad because I don't have many. And I think that was one of like my vintage ones that I had gotten at a thrift store a while back. Super beautiful. It was hand painted, and I have a couple more like it, but I was kind of sad that it broke. However, pretty happy that that was the only one this year that broke. I do not reuse my my angel hair tinsel. It is so cheap to get at the store. It's only $1 for like an entire pack, which almost covers my entire tree. So I get that every year. I do not save it because it's a mess to deal with. If you're used to dealing with it, you know it is such a disaster to kind of have to save. So I don't even bother with that anymore. I just get a new package every year. So my husband is kind of taking that off the tree and putting it in this garbage bag because otherwise it kind of clogs up my vacuums. So he's getting as much as he can before we vacuum. Does anybody else struggle with having those straggler pieces of Christmas, or maybe even I probably have it for like Halloween and stuff too, but I swear every year there's some pieces left behind of decorations and stuff that you just kind of forget about. And then where we store our Christmas stuff, it's like in the attic and it's not as easily accessible. So it is hard whenever we have those stragglers left over. I mean, the tree obviously is so noticeable because it's obvious. So that gets put away, but I was walking around and kind of taking down the rest of the decor and putting it all in one spot so we can easily pack it up. But I swear there's always those couple of things that don't get put away. And then the next year, we sometimes don't even put them out because they were put in such a weird spot. I really need to spend the next couple of months just kind of going through things and reorganizing like how we have our storage areas. I did that to a certain degree, I guess I did that. So we have a couple different storage rooms in our house, a couple in our basement. We also have a couple storage areas up in our attic. And I just feel like everything needs gone over and really figured out a little bit better. We went through and we decluttered a ton of things, but in terms of actually getting everything pretty organized, I feel like we still have a way to go. So I do plan on doing that within the coming months, but it is such a huge thing to do that I will probably have to space it out over time. So anyway, we're just, like I said, getting kind of things put back together. I'm going around and taking down little odds and ends for our Christmas decor and putting them all in one spot. So hopefully we got everything. I know that the only thing we missed was the little Christmas tree on our kitchen island. And I have to take the oranges and stuff off of that. But I believe, at least right now, it could totally be different in a couple of days. I'm sure I'll find some other things. But I believe that is, as of now, the only thing that we ended up leaving. So my blankets were done from the ones that I took off my bed. So we always hang dry those. And this is kind of how everything is looking at the moment. I am so glad to be back to, what is our normal after Christmas, have everything packed away. It just feels so fresh and clean. And to me, it feels so much easier on my mind. So I was so glad that we got all of that packed away. I have just a couple like this gift because we had such a huge thing on Christmas. Guests were kind of rushed out of the house and they did not get all their gifts. They were kind of just grabbing the dishes that they came with and rushing out of the house. So I could get, medical attention and everything like that. So it was a little chaotic. I still have gifts and stuff that I need to hand out, but it felt really, really good to get, for the most part, everything packed up. So now the chili is done. It is a while later, and I am making, what do they call it down here? It was never a thing when we lived up in Illinois. Frito pie. That's what it is. Took me a second. But down here they do like what is called a Frito pie, where you put Fritos in a bowl with chili and cheese and sour cream, and you could do jalapenos and stuff like that, and it is really good. So we had some Frito pie, or if everybody just kind of dished up what they were wanting. And it turned out really good. And like I said, Kyle, he was really excited that he was able to help more in the kitchen. He always wants to. It's just never an easy thing because it just doesn't come naturally for him. But he did such a wonderful job. And I'm really looking forward to being able to enjoy more of that this week. But anyway, that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.